For decades, our relationship with plastic has been one-way street. We take fossil fuels from deep underground, we transform them into material that can last for centuries, we use it for a few minutes, and then we throw it away. It's a linear system that's created a planetary waste problem. But what if we could change the origin of plastic? What if instead of coming from ancient polluting resources, it came from living, growing things? And what if at the end of its life, it could gracefully return to Earth? This is not science fiction. This is the promise of bioplastics. My name is Omar Munoz, and today we are diving into the world of polymers made from nature for nature. At its core, a bioplastic is simply a plastic made from renewable biological resources rather than finite fossil fuels. The most common resources are plants like corn, starch, sugarcane, or even potatoes. But innovators are also looking at more exotic feedstocks, such as seaweed, avocado seeds, and cactus juice. Now, two of the biggest stars in the bioplastic world are PLA and PHA. They might sound familiar from some of the mesh resources that we have seen in this class, but they are made differently. Let's start with polyitic acid, or PLA. Imagine a cornfield. The sugars from that corn are extracted and fermented by bacteria, a process similar to brewing beer. This fermentation produces lactic acid. Those lactic acid molecules are then chemically linked together into a long chain, or polymers, to create PLA. This process allows PLA to mimic plastics, making it a common choice for water bottles, food containers, and disposable cutlery. Now let's talk about something even more advanced, PHA, short for polyhydrox. While PLA comes from plants, PHA is actually made from microorganisms. Here is how it works. Scientists grow a certain types of bacteria in tanks and feed them material rich in carbon, such as plant sugars or even organic waste. When the bacteria don't get enough nutrients like nitrogen, they begin to store the carbon inside their cells as a way of surviving. These stored materials are then collected and turned into PHA, bioplastics. In a way, these bacteria act like tiny natural plastic factories, creating an eco-friendly alternative to traditional plastics. So the big question is, what happens when it gets thrown away? The real advantage of PHA and similar materials like PLA is what happens when we are done using them. These bioplastics are designed to be broken down by bacteria and fungi. In industrial composting facilities where it's hot, moist, and full of microbes, they completely decompose in just a few months. What's left behind are only natural materials: water, carbon dioxide, and compost. This process helps turn waste back into something useful, closing the loop in nature's cycle. However, it's important to note that this only works under the right conditions. Most bioplastics won't fully break down in your backyard, compost piles, regular landfills, or the ocean. That's why we need more industrial composting centers to make the system truly sustainable. What are the challenges and what is next for bioplastics? Even with their benefits, bioplastics are imperfect. Growing crops to make them can take up land, water, and pesticides that could otherwise be used for food. Because of this, scientists and companies are exploring smarter solutions. Some are making bioplastics from agricultural waste, like avocado pits, cactus leaves, or seaweed. Others are using wastewater and methane from landfills to feed the bacteria to produce PHA. These innovations turn pollution into a resource and move us closer to a circular system where nothing goes to waste. In the end, bioplastics aren't a complete fix. The best solution is still to use less plastic overall. But for situations where we truly need plastics, materials like PLA and PHA show a new, hopeful direction, one where our products can safely return to nature, just like leaves falling in a forest. I hope you enjoyed this podcast about the natural plastic revolution. Thanks for listening.